All right, what's up everybody? This is Betty Garza, your local realtor right here in South Florida. And I have been lately showing a lot of property in Port St. Lucie and receiving a lot of feedback from people that actually look up there, they wanna go to Port St. Lucie, they wanna check out the area, and then they decide, you know what, this is not the area for me. And sometimes it happens. Sometimes that happens here in West Palm Beach County, and then it happens up in St. Lucie County. So I want to share with you my experiences and feedback and the 5 reasons maybe why you shouldn't move to Port St. Lucie if it's something you've been thinking about. And we're getting at it right here. Okay, so today we're talking about, and this video is going to tell you everything you need to know about the reasons why you shouldn't move to Port St. Lucie. Maybe it's something you're considering. Maybe you're relocating from another state, maybe another city. I'm going to let you know the ins and outs of this county, of this city, and the reasons why you shouldn't move. I know there's a lot of videos, a lot of people tell you all about Port St. Lucie. I've even made a video about Port St. Lucie on the amazing things about it. But you guys know I keep it real with you. I tell you everything, the good, the bad, everything in between. And today's video is going to tell you the reasons why you shouldn't move to Port St. Lucie. All right, so if this is your first time to my channel, I let you know everything you need to know about eating, sleeping, playing, living, working in South Florida. If that's something that you're interested in, definitely hit that bell and hit the subscribe button so that you're notified every time I post a new video, which is weekly. I keep it real on here. In no way do I try to persuade you or, push you into certain areas or neighborhoods or anything like that. I just share my experiences and my stories, things that I hear from clients, things that I hear from family, friends. I am a native here to South Florida. Born, raised. I know the ins, the outs, the good, the bad, the different streets, anything you need to know about South Florida. I am the realtor that knows the ins and outs. I've lived here my entire life. So I'm confident in that. And Port St. Lucie is a city that has been growing for a few years now. So up there, you find a lot of single family homes on larger lots, and there's a lot of good things about that city. A lot of people, kind of either relocate here from just south of Port St. Lucie up to there because of the affordability and different reasons like that. And then there's people coming from different states looking into this city as well. I've talked to so many different people, looking to relocate right here to South Florida. So definitely, if you are someone that is in need of a realtor and looking into relocating or moving, definitely shoot me a text, send me an email, send me a pigeon carrier, smoke signal, whatever it takes to get a hold of me. Me and my team absolutely love helping people, relocate and find the right home and area for them. But we can't do that, guys, unless you, send us a text message or an email or give us a call, whatever it takes. Reach out. There's also a link in the description where you can set up a one-on-one with me and we can chit chat a little more about what you're looking for. Okay, so let's get into it. Port St. Lucie, the reasons why you shouldn't move here. The first reason is beach access. So Port St. Lucie actually doesn't have a bridge that takes you over to the ocean, over to the water, to the island. You either have to go south or north of Port St. Lucie. Now, if you're located on the west part of Port St. Lucie, which is actually where a lot of the new construction, newer homes are going up at, on the west coast of Port St. Lucie, to get east, it is literally about a 30-40 minute drive, no kidding, no exaggeration, just to get over to the east side. And then you have to head north or south to get to a local beach, which is the city of Jensen or the city of Fort Pierce. Fort Pierce has 2 bridges that get you over to the ocean side, and Jensen has one main one that gets you there. But if you're located on the west side of Port St. Lucie, it is a bit of a drive just to get to the east side. Just so you know that. And then to get to either city, it's probably another 30 or 45 minutes. So it's definitely a drive to get there. If you're one that doesn't mind driving, then it's not a big deal for you. Or maybe you're one that's not really into the beach, it's not a big deal for you. But if you're a person that likes to pack up the grill, the kids, whatever it is, the family, have get-togethers, barbecues at the beach, then just know that It's going to take some planning, and it's going to, I tell you all the time, when I go to the beach, it's an 8-hour thing minimum for the most part. But just know that it is a drive to get there. It's not something like in some cities where you just have quick, full access to the beach and you can go, there quickly, spend a couple of hours, and then call it a day and head back. It is a bit of a planning to get to the beach from Port Saint Lucie. So that's reason number 1. Okay, reason number 2 why Port Saint Lucie may not be the city for you is there is no actual dedicated downtown area. So Port Saint Lucie, like I was mentioning, is still growing, is a city where people back when were kind of moving there to get away from the big city life. There's a lot more, like I said, the houses with larger lots. Now they are developing more communities, new construction, communities that actually offer amenities. So if you're one that's kind of used to a downtown area where you could walk, you could go out for lunch, maybe you're gonna do brunch and mimosas with some friends. There are restaurants that you can do that at, but not an actual downtown area where you can just kind of stroll, walk a few blocks, have different shops, different restaurants and things like that. Port Saint Lucie doesn't offer that right now, though if you're one that is looking at the new construction communities down there that does offer amenities, those places do offer like pool, pickleball, tennis, golf, things like that. So maybe that's more of your style or your preference. There are communities that offer that, but as far as like a downtown area, like in West Palm, you have Clematis, you have Rosemary Square, where you could actually go down there, have lunch, take a walk, look at different stores, pop in and out of those, kind of make a half a day of it. Port Saint Lucie doesn't quite have that just yet. This city is, and it continues to build. There are, younger people moving to the area, which do bring in, different ideas and different preferences, and maybe the city will eventually develop to have that. But as of right now, if you're somebody that's looking for something like that right now, Port Saint Lucie doesn't offer that. So if you are one that has that preference, then maybe looking into a neighborhood that has different amenities that can kind of keep you entertained on the weekend or a day after a hard day of work on a Friday, you want to, get together with maybe some friends or invite some family over, maybe a community with a pool or a clubhouse or something like that would be a better preference, so that you can still have options of entertaining or things to do at your fingertips. But yeah, as of right now, as of today, it is 2023 January. There's no quite area right now that is offered that in Port Saint Lucie. Okay, so I just wanted to mention as well that you definitely want to stay tuned for the last tip and reason why some people that I've spoken to have decided not to move to Port Saint Lucie is number 5. So definitely stay tuned to that, because you're definitely going to want to know it. It may or may not affect you, just kind of depending where you're coming from and what why you're looking into this specific city to move to. Okay, so reason number 3 is International Airport. So in Port Saint Lucie, in order to get to your closest International Airport, you're going to be looking at like the Melbourne, Orlando area, which is about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes away. Port Saint Lucie is a city that is in St. Lucie County. It includes a city like Fort Pierce and Port Saint Lucie combined. And from there, it's located, Orlando, like I said, is about an hour and a half to hour 45 minutes north. That's your next like major city. If you've been to Orlando, you know how crazy the development has been there. It's the city with all the attractive theme parks and so much to do there. And then you have, of course, Palm Beach County, which is, West Palm, Boca, Jupiter, all those bigger cities that are ongoing, being developed and construction and stuff going like that on. I've made other videos on that. But Port St. Lucie is kind of north of West Palm and south of Orlando. And so internationally getting to those airports, that's kind of your choice. Now, the next international big airport would be Fort Lauderdale, and that's probably almost about 2 hours away, especially on a day with traffic, depending on when you're traveling, what time your flight is. Fort Lauderdale is your next biggest airport. It's an airport that gives you a lot of options, especially if you're shopping based on price, you know, if you're flexible with time, of course, different times, days, things like that. Palm Beach County, or, you know, they do have an airport. They have PBI, which is a great airport. It's just a little smaller. And back when, you know, when the pandemic hit and everything, a lot of the flights had changed, a lot of options had diminished. But now that we're almost past all that, things have opened up a little bit more and they have more options. Though when I have personally been shopping for flights and looking into it, Palm Beach or PBI International Airport was really more expensive. Like usually, especially with international flights, when I'm looking at those, Fort Lauderdale, Miami are probably a few $100s cheaper than PBI. PBI for us is, I live in Palm Beach County, so that airport is my go-to, but I always check the prices in the other airports because usually it is a significant difference and they have more options. Different companies that are offered, they offer more flights. So PBI is a great airport. It's small. You're not going through that hecticness of like, you know, a huge airport and you have to walk like 10 miles to get from one to another, or to find your flight, to find your area, where your designated area to go to. So that's great. Sometimes I do just pay for the more expensive flight because it's just convenient. But just so you know, with Port Saint Lucie, those are kind of where, like, you know, it's a little bit more of a drive and better planning that you'll have to do in order to do a flight, just so you know. But maybe you're one that doesn't travel a lot, or maybe you don't need to travel for work and that's not a big deal for you. But just know that those are the kind of the airports surrounding in order to get from Port St. Lucie to wherever it is you're going. Okay, so reason number 4, as far as reasons not to move to Port St. Lucie, if this is a city you're considering, is good paying jobs. So like I said, I grew up here in Florida and I know a lot of people. I've met a lot of people over the time, and I've had friends and family that have actually relocated from Palm Beach County up to Port St. Lucie. And what I find the trend is that a lot of them actually still drive down to Palm Beach County for their jobs. So Port St. Lucie, as I mentioned before, is still a city that is developing, that has been growing over the last few years. Though, because it's still developing, a lot of those high-paying jobs, like in the tech industry, finance, things like that, are not the highest paid in Port St. Lucie. The jobs that seem to be a little better pay that you definitely will find is in healthcare. So if you're a doctor, nurse, physical, occupational therapist, things and to that nature as far as healthcare, you do find those, and they do pay very well in Port St. Lucie. They have 3 hospitals there in that city as well. If you're in that industry, then maybe Port St. Lucie is a good city for you. Finding a job, a good paying job, may not be an issue for you. Though also what has changed over the last couple of years is that a lot of people are working from home. You know, they are able to work remotely. If that's a conversation that you can have with your job, and Port St. Lucie is still a city that you're interested in and living in, then that's an option as well. Of course, you know, a lot of jobs, a lot of companies are offering remote positions. And I feel that what will eventually happen is that with these occupations being able to work remotely, is that will kind of change those statistics with Port St. Lucie, and the way that people get paid and the median price or, you know, income will change as well, because maybe it's not the job that's immediately located, and maybe you don't even go to the office every day, so it's something you can kind of balance out. But as far as, you know, the high paying jobs, it's something that you definitely want to look into before making a decision to purchase in Port St. Lucie, and then possibly look into other counties. I've had people do that too, where they had their heart set on Port St. Lucie and then they kind of changed and decided to live into a different county or a different city. But definitely looking and doing your research as far as jobs. If you're somewhere where you can't transfer or they don't offer that remote position, definitely look into that, because if the drive is going to be too much for you, or you have to be at a, you know, business or an office every day, just know that Port St. Lucie, not a lot of those things are offered there immediately. And what I advise a lot of people that are coming from different cities And in case you are one that does end up being able to work remotely, take a drive through Port St. Lucie. Like if it's something that your heart is set on, come into town, take a drive, go out to lunch, find out where your local grocery store will be compared to the area of where you are looking to live in. Spend a few days there and see if it's something that you see yourself doing on a daily basis. So maybe the job issue or the airport issue is not something that you're necessarily concerned with, but it's your everyday thing, your grocery store, your, gas stations, your local, Home Depot, Lowe's, those kind of things. Like how far is that? Get to know the area, go out to lunch, go out to dinner, see what kind of people are there, if it's something that you really indeed can see yourself living. And some of my clients, they come into town and they spend a few days here. We don't necessarily go out and look at homes because you're not at that point of, executing a contract. You want to move in the next, 3 months or 30 days, whatever the case might be, but maybe you're a year out or so. But come spend some time, get to know the different cities here, different counties, the different highways that are here, and exactly the different industries as well, as far as where you work, things like that. And get to really know the area. Reach out to us. We can let you know some hot spots and things that, we can talk a little bit more about what you're into, and I can give you some ideas and areas that you can look into and go spend some time there for sure. Okay, so as I promised, reason number 5 of why people are choosing not to move to Port St. Lucie. I told you this was going to be the big one, the one you definitely wanted to stay tuned for, is property taxes. So some people have done some research when looking into Port St. Lucie and looking here to move. The property taxes are one of the highest as far as cities in Florida, and this was determined back in 2019. And so, but there's a few different things that kind of balance as far as with Port St. Lucie. So property taxes, yes, they are higher in this city compared to others. So compared to cities in Palm Beach County, compared to other cities here in Palm Beach County, the property taxes are a little higher. Though, like I was saying, but Port St. Lucie is still developing, the cost of living is lower, Port St. Lucie, so that could balance it out. Maybe you're coming from a different city, a different state, where property taxes are even higher there. I haven't looked into it, but I know that in Texas, property taxes are way higher, but the cost of the house is lower. So the affordability in Port St. Lucie is still lower. You can get, 3-4 bedroom homes up there still in the 300-400s with larger lots, maybe no association. There are, of course, new construction and things like that are offered there, but the affordability seems to, is lower than here in Palm Beach County, but the property taxes are higher. So you find that balance. Or maybe you're coming from somewhere where they have state income tax. We don't have state income tax here in Florida. So really running those numbers with a local lender and looking at that kind of stuff to see really where you stand will be something you want to do. Or maybe property taxes are definitely something that's important to you, or it's going to make a big factor in your, numbers. Then maybe looking at a different county, such as Palm Beach County, for a home in those areas would be something that we could research. So, myself and my team taking you up there to, once you're closer and ready to purchase the home, once we start looking, it's something we can definitely look into together and have a conversation about. But like I said, I know if you're a ways out from making the decision as far as purchasing, what areas, where in South Florida, getting a feel of like the lifestyles in the different counties as well. I've talked about that in other videos, just kind of depending what you want to do, what kind of lifestyle. And, when you click on that link in the description and you set up that one-on-one with me, I definitely want to know more about you, what your lifestyle is, so that I can better guide you as far as areas and neighborhoods and things like that, because I know it here. I know the ins and outs, the roads, the neighborhoods, the lifestyles, what people like to do, whether it's you want to hop in your golf cart and take a stroll in the neighborhood, or maybe, being active and being outside and you want, a trail to run on, or you want to know where the local parks are, or the gyms, or whatever it might be. I'm going to know that stuff and I'm going to be able to tell you all about it. So if you found this information useful, definitely hit that subscribe button. Click that bell so you're notified every time I record a video so that you can watch it and you're just notified. And if hope to connect with you soon. don't forget, shoot us a text message, give us a call, send us an email, and reach out, because that's the only way we're going to be able to help you, because I've got your back when you're thinking of relocating and moving to South Florida. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.